Okay, I think that we can start. There is a huge number of participants, so we are very happy about that. So good morning to everyone. Of course, thank you for participating to this first webinar of EPO. My name is Violetta Insolia, and I'm the product specialist and marketing specialist in EPO. And I'm here today to guide you through this first webinar together with Saporiti Consulting. And with me there are Dr. Mattia Saporiti and Dr. Maddalena De Cilla. And the focus of today will be the use of botanical extracts in pet food formulations, and we will see this topic from different point of view. I would like to give you just a few information before to start. First of all, the slides will be available by the end of the webinar, as well as the recording of this webinar. And if you want, and there will be also the video that will be uploaded on our website in a few days. And at the end of the webinar, there will be the Q&A section. So if you have any comments or you want to do some questions, you can just open the tool and write all your questions. I would like, to introduce this webinar. So there will be 3 talks. The first one will be held by Mattia Saporiti, which is a formulation scientist, and he is an expert in formulation development and in regulatory affairs. In fact, he will talk about the regulatory framework and the formulation development of complementary feed for pets. The second talk will be held by Dr. Maddalena De Cilla. She's a veterinarian and she's the head of clinical product development in Saporiti Consulting. And she will talk with a more specific and scientific point of view about immunity and inflammation. Then the last talk will be mine. I will present EPO's extract, who we are, how we work, and how is it possible to claim the high quality ingredients according to the latest trends in the pet food market. So now I will leave the floor to Mattia and enjoy our webinar. See you later.
Thank you, Violetta, and happy to meet you all in this webinar. I'm trying to start. Sorry, just a moment, but okay. Yeah, one of the most asked question I get is related to the regulation of veterinary product. And I think we can start with the legal basis on production, labeling, marketing of the feeding stuff. This regulation framework is common also for pet animals and also for livestock, and is represented by the regulation 767 of the 2009 about the placing on the market and the use of feed. We have also the regulation 1069 of the 2009 regarding the animal byproducts and derived product not intended for human consumption. And this is very important for the use of fish oil, for the use of the palatants, and also the animal proteins in formulation of complementary feed and pet food. In addition, we have a specific regulation about the quality requirements with general principles and requirement of food law, requirement for feed hygiene, and also the undesirable substances. The use of feed materials and additives are strictly regulated by the Commission Regulation 1017 of 2017, which is the catalog of feed materials. We have the regulation 1831 of 2003, which is the additive list for use in animal nutrition, divided in Annex 1 and Annex 2. And we have also the field material register, which is a part of the regulation 767/2009. Then we can approach some useful definition in pet food matter. Feed is any substance or product including additives, whether processed physically or partially processed, intended to be used for oral feeding to animals. We have also the feed materials, which are product of vegetable or animal origin, whose principal objective is to meet animal nutrition need in the natural state, fresh or preserved, and product derived from the industrial processing. We have the definition of feed additive, which are substances, microorganisms, or preparation other than feed materials and premixtures, which are intentionally added to feed or water in order to perform one or more of the following function. They can favorably affect the characteristic of feed, the colors of ornamental birds and fish, satisfy the nutritional need of vitamins and of animals, and this is the case of vitamins and also oligoelements like zinc or other. They can favorably affect the environmental consequences of animal production, the performance or the welfare of the animal, and particularly by affecting the gastrointestinal flora or the digestibility of the feeding stuff. Botanical extracts are all feed additives regulated by the regulation 1831 of the 2003 in category 2B. They are defined as flavoring compound, which are substances, the inclusion of which in feeding stuff increase feed smell or palatability. In the table list, you can see some extract in Annex 1 of the regulation 1831. You can see artichoke extract, echinacea extract, devil's claw extract, and boswellia or olibanum extract. In this Annex 1, you can find all the list of the authorized botanical extract divided in extract, tinctures, oils, which are the physical form available for the veterinary pet food development and formulation. This is a small overview on administration forms in dogs and cats. We can have complete feed and complementary feed. Complete feed usually are in solid form, dry pet food in kibbles, or wet pet food in jelly or in gravy. We can have for the complementary feed solid form, for example, tablets, which are the most common in the veterinary field, capsules, soft gel, powders in sachet, in jar with measuring spoon, cookies, snack and treat. We can have also semi-solid form, for example, paste in syringe, in tube, in monodose sachet, in eyeless dispenser, in jelly. We can have at the end the liquid form, can be water-based or oil-based, liquid in monodose sachet, liquid in bottle with dropper, liquid in bottle with measuring cup. This is a small overview, but it's very important to understand the pet trend and also the product in the market. Complementary feed is a compound feed which has a high content of certain substances, but which by reason of its composition is sufficient only for a daily ration if used in combination with other feed. This is an analogy with food supplements in human sphere. The complementary feed product development require a strong knowledge of applicable regulation, for example, the additives values, the allowed ingredients, also the manufacturing process. It's important to have knowledge of the target species requirement, for example, the nutritional requirement, the behavior, the palatability to achieve, and we can have the suppliers of additives and feed materials, the ingredients quality. We can have we need to have knowledge of the ingredients interaction and the stability of the final product. A best practice is start with the stability studies to guarantee the content of the ingredients, for example, vitamin or something else. The right formula does not exist. The right formula is a reflection of company values on history of the brand, innovation strategies, and product desired quality and safety, and product desired efficacy, and product desired palatability score. About the palatability, which is a hot point in pet food formulation, how can I make sure that pets will like my product? This is a major question when I create a formula for pet. Making sure the pets will hit the product is at the heart of formula development in veterinary field, and palatability score is very critical to the success of a product launch. We can reach a good palatability, understanding the animal specificities, understanding the sensorial, the physiological, and the behavioral specificities of dog and cat is the key to design a very good veterinary product. We have also to evaluate the product features. In this case, palatants are your best friend in veterinary pet formulation and development. Palatants, in most of the cases, are boosted by formula ingredients and by physical and chemical properties of the product, and in some cases, by the production process. For example, heat treatments, moisture value, and this is the case of the pet food in jelly or in gravy. And especially when I formulate product with the botanical extract, cover the bad taste of some functional ingredient is not easy. In this case, the palatability enhancement strategies must be applied. Another point of palatability is the pet owner expectation, and then finalize it to gain the customer trust. The rising pet parenting trend required marketplace players to consider pet owner conception of pet food palatability performance. Easy of use is a part of the success of a new product. To ensure the product success, manufacturers must not only satisfy pet appetites, they also need the satisfaction to be shared and perceptible by the owner. If the owners don't perceive that the animal love the food, for sure, next time they will simply not repurchase it. We can say that a poor palatability and a poor product quality can result in brand damages and the loss of customer trust. We can have recalls, social media posts, and negative feedback. This is a small discussion on preservation and quality of the product. The product life can be seen as a journey by car, where the strategy to protect the product can be seen like a seatbelt. Like a seatbelt, quality strategies are an essential tool to protect product quality during the shelf life. Quality strategies are represented by prevention and protecting strategies. The prevention strategies can be the ingredients hygiene, the traceability of the ingredients, the unwanted substances, the bioburden of the ingredients, a supplier validation, the plant hygiene, the manufacturing process adequacy, the traceability of the process, the right choice of the active ingredients, and the excipient in order to avoid incompatibility in formula. Another point very important is the right choice of the packaging, also to avoid incompatibility, but also to protect the product. A small suggestion is to look for the internationally recognized standard of quality for suppliers and manufacturers. About the protecting strategies, we can use the preservatives, antioxidant, which are listed in additives Annex 1 of the additive regulation. We can move with adequate pH values, with adequate water activity values, and operate a right choice of the packaging. It's important to know that not all the authorized preservative in human food supplements are authorized preservative additives in feeding stuff regulation. The product pH and preservative choice has an impact on microbial activity and shelf life stability of the final product. A very common use the preservative is the potassium sorbate, and is very useful in complementary feed formulation and complementary feed development. It's very effective on yeast and malt with a moderate activity on gram-positive and gram-negative bacteria. Then when you have to operate with potassium sorbate, the efficacy depends on the pH value, and then it's very, very important to add organic acid in order to create the effective and dissociated sorbic acid. About the dosage of preservatives, high levels than needed are not useful. Lower levels needed to be effective are the best choice. Is possible to develop a complementary feed without a preservative? Yes, for sure. But you have to consider the packaging. For example, you have to consider the free head space, the administration method, the monodose, and the packaging in all the aspects. You have also to consider the ingredient stability, the suppliers of the ingredient, if it's possible, a lowest bioburden, make the product with the highest quality and the longest shelf life. We have to consider the final formula water activity, the final formula pH, the process hygiene and manufacturing process. And it's important to understand and to know if the formula is water-based or oil-based or is a powder. It's possible to use natural antioxidant, for example, tocopherol-rich extract listed in Annex 1 of the additive regulation. In any case, is always a case-by-case evaluation. At the end, we can conclude discussing about knowledge, which is a fundamental part in development of a new product, also in human field, but also in veterinary field. Knowledge management is the process of capturing, distributing, and effectively use knowledge. It has been a key factor in successful development and manufacture of pharmaceutical product. If applied to pet food and complementary feed development, it's possible to improve the product performances in terms of quality, effectiveness, safety, regulatory compliance, and shelf life. Understanding the chemical and physical processes underlying interaction, dosage form, formulation, and the production process and product storage throughout the shelf life is fundamental in assuring quality, safety, efficacy of a new product in the market. We can conclude with a small take-home message. Formulators of complete and complementary feed must consider the full formula and lifespan from ingredients purchase to disposal to provide a robust safety framework and extend the product quality. I finished. Thank you for the attention. In the slide, you can find my direct contact. And now I will leave the floor to my colleague, Maddalena.
Okay, thank you, Mattia, and good morning, everyone. Okay, here we go. Just a second. Okay. Today we will speak about immunity and inflammation, having an overview of dogs and cat application. We all know what the immune system does. Basically, it spots the intruder and inactivates them. But recent event forced us to focus way more carefully on immune response onset mechanism. So, few words about immune system. Okay, first of all, dogs and human beings are quite close in terms of immune system, meaning that our pet reacts to pathogens more or less like we do, as to say, with an innate and an adaptive immune response. The first one is always on, meaning that we always have complement system that needs to be just activated, and physical chemical barriers like mucosa, digestive enzymes, stomach pH, and normal flora, which we will speak about further. The immediate response is related to the presence of neutrophils and antigen-presenting cells, which are macrophage and natural killer cells in charge for phagocytating intruders. This part of the immune system interacts with the adaptive immune response, which has a delayed onset, which takes instead days and weeks. And it's rotating around lymphocytes action, which are T cells and B cells. So basically a cytotoxic action and an antibody production, which give us the big advantage of being more fast in preparing in case we meet a second time the same pathogens, which is the base of vaccination. Okay, when we mention immune system, we are speaking about a complex network of cells and humoral factors, including cytokines, which orchestrate the defense against the invaders in a well-structured crosstalk. Lately, pandemic reminded us that we can be challenged by same pathogen. And some interesting surveys performed in the north of Italy regarding pets owned by SARS-CoV-19 positive individuals reported that few of these pets were displaying mild respiratory or gastrointestinal symptoms. Few other were asymptomatic but testing positive to swabs, and few more were asymptomatic, testing negative to swabs, but had a significant antibody titer against SARS-CoV-19. Well, if it has been proved to a certain extent that a cross-infection from human to pet is possible, especially feline and even large feline, as we saw in the zoo, it has not been proved up to now a reinfection from pet to human being. We were mentioning flora earlier. It's very important because we have to keep in mind that whatever our pet eat does influence the gut microbiome. The gut microbiome is made of bacteria, fungi, and viruses, and of course the genetic material. Any variation of the intestinal microbiome does affect the gut-brain axis and as well the immune system, thus affecting the pet's health. So any change that impacts, that affect the function of the microbiome, changing composition, is called dysbiosis. If it takes a wide dietary variation in macronutrients to produce a variation in the composition of the microbiome, meaning variating the taxa of involved bacteria, which is the more representative one, it just takes a variation in bacteria-derived metabolism to variate the microbiota function. Therefore, already micronutrient can be effective. And this was somehow clear to men since middle age already, when they learned, probably from animals, that the body response to disease can be influenced already by botanicals. Okay, nowadays, ethnopharmacology supports and gives basis to the traditional use of herbal remedies. And EkinACT purpura and EkinACT angustifolia have a long history of medicinal use for a variety of conditions. The chemistry is well documented, and several groups of constituents are considered to be important for the immunomodulatory activity. And please note that we are speaking about immunomodulatory activity and not about immunostimulatory activity, since a broad generic stimulation of the immune system can be dangerous. So immunomodulatory activity is especially referring to upper respiratory tract infection treatment. Just to give you an idea, at the beginning of 2004, there were more than 400 publications regarding this topic, and referring to the more reliable one, meaning double-blind, placebo-controlled crossover trials, few effectiveness of EkinACT being demonstrated regarding the immune system, especially referring to
sorry, maybe there was a problem. Maddalena, can you listen me? No. Mattia, can you listen me?
Yes, for sure.
Okay, I think there was a problem in the connection with Maddalena. Okay, I don't know, maybe we can, if she's not here anymore, I can start with my presentation, so maybe she can continue later. I think it could be the best solution at the moment. Okay, I will share my screen. Okay. Okay, here we are again. So with the EPO's extracts. So first of all, I would like just to present you our company for those that didn't know us, doesn't know us. So EPO is an Italian family company. It's based in Milan, and we are specialized in the production of high quality botanical extracts since 1933. We produce a wide range of extracts for many countries and for completely different sectors, from food supplements, feed, cosmetics, and so on. And of course, today we will focalize our attention just on feed. In fact, I would like to give you just a general introduction on this market, so on the global pet food market, which is a very huge market in terms of value. In which we can see in 2020, but these data are, we think that are almost confirmed also in this year. In 2020, the North America held the largest share of the market, while the Asia Pacific was the fastest growing region for the general pet food, while the Middle East and Africa were the fastest growing region for the complementary pet food, so for the pet food supplements. To understand better this market, it is necessary to make some considerations on the impact that the COVID-19 had. Of course, as all the others market and sectors, there were some negative and positive impacts. For example, there was a general panic for the consumers to buy dietary supplements and in general other pet food products. There was a steady growth on the pet food segment because there were more and more people adopted pets with the desire for companionship during this critical period of the lockdown. But on the other hand, there were also a negative impact on the supply chain for all the problems and restrictions of movement, so problems in raw materials supply. Another thing that is important to underline and is very specific related to the COVID-19 situation is the shift towards the e-commerce platform. And this has two main impacts. The first one is that the players of this sector are making now a significant investment in increasing the brand value, not only the brand value of the single products, but also the brand value of their own company. And also there is, from the other end, an increase in the consumer awareness. So there are consumers that goes on internet and study and read lots of information. So they are more conscious about the products and what is inside that product. And in fact, the two main drivers of this market, even before the COVID-19, were the premiumization, so the launch of products that contain premium ingredients, so that can be considered premium line, high quality products, and the humanization. These were already two trends that were also already present before the COVID-19 situation, but we can say that these can for sure remain the key drivers of the market even later over this period. This is because the pet owners start to become very, for them, the pet health and the nutrition started to be the most important choice to buy a product for their pet. This is the situation, the projection of the situation that should be present in this market. So with a growth that will be very accelerated on this market. We are talking about the global market, but even, for example, in Italy, we are very close to this percentage of growth. Even the value of the growth, there will be a very strong incremental growth in terms of value of the products and also in terms of volume. One of the problems is that this market is really fragmented, and this leads to a very high competition between all the companies. What is really interesting for me when I read this report was that it is thought that the 35% of the growth will originate from Europe, and that one of the key drivers for this market would be the launch of high quality pet dietary supplements. So we have said that one of the first trend is the humanization, and the story began with pet owners that look like their animals, like in this case, but nowadays we are observing an inverse trend in which the animals start to look like their owners. And we can say, in fact, that we can talk about a sort of extended family in which we have the shift from the pet ownership to pet parenting. This is because the people start to view the pets as a family member, and for this reason, there is also an increase in their annual spending on pet dietary supplements. So we have seen that humanization is one of the trends, but there is also the premiumization, and the two things are very close to each other, since of course the buyer of pet products are humans, and for this reason the market driver are very similar. One of the most important things is that the pet food should be always better and always safer for the animals, the pet food should have a very high nutritional level and should have in the meantime also some dietary benefits. There is also a new trend related to the locally sourced product, but this is also related to not just locally sourced, but in general is close to what is behind the product that you are selling. So all the storytelling you have, and not only of the final product, but also of the ingredients, because all the consumers start to be more careful on the ingredient list of the products. There is also another trend related to the ethically sourced product. And in general, we can say that the most important trends are that the pet food should be all natural. There is a link also between the premium line of products and organic products. The feed should be presented and prepared with an holistic approach. So we are talking no more about feed that should provide just optimal nutrition, but we are talking also about a meal that should support the overall well-being of the pet. And there is another important key trend, which is the sustainability. And this is not just related to the company that should be sustainable with a green economy, but it is also related to the packaging, for example, or the attention to, from a social point of view, or the attention for the environment in general. So these are the most important trends. So how a company like EPO can help you in the communication of these premium ingredients and premium products. So the three main reasons to choose EPO's extracts are quality, safety, and efficacy. We are manufacturers, so we know exactly how we produce extracts, and we have a completely full traceability of all our extracts from the fields, thanks to the strict collaboration that we have with our suppliers until the production of the product, of the final extract. We carefully test all the active compounds, and we also test and search for chemical and microbiological contaminants. So we have a very strict protocol, even for the identification of all our critical control point in the production process. For us, safety is important as well. In fact, for example, one of our most important point and advantage is related to the botanical species identification. In fact, we certified the botanical species by the DNA analysis, and we give the possibility to the end customer to share this information and this quality and safety information with the end user. In fact, we give the possibility to our customers to use the DNA certified extract logo also on the packaging of its final product. And for sure, we have lots of certification on our company. We are ISO certificate. We follow GMP. We comply the GMP for dietary supplements, and we have also we comply also with pharma GMP for some customized product. We have some ethical certifications such as kosher, the organic certification to guarantee, and all of these needs to be to guarantee the quality and the safety as well of our extracts. We have also a catalog dedicated to feed products, feed ingredients. This is just a preview of one of the pages of our catalog, in which you can see that we have already the products that are that comply to the regulations of feed additives. In fact, they are labeled as feed additives. And we have also a few lists of feed materials, but the majority of our extracts are sold as feed additives. And this is here there is just a case history of one of our branded extract, because we have a huge list of extracts, but we have also some branded one. And this is EkinACT, which is a dry extract of Echinacea purpurea, standardized to contain 4% phenolic acids. And I decided to show you this case history because this can be an example to show you how we work and which is our approach for our branded extracts. For example, in the case of Echinacea, we have a partner, which is an agronomist, that help us in understanding which are the best cultivation practice, which are also the cultivation techniques and practice to obtain a drug, so a plant that is very rich in all the active compounds. In fact, for example, together with the University of Rome, La Sapienza di Roma, we have analyzed the phytochemical complexes of the echinacea that we use to produce EkinACT, which is not a general Echinacea purpurea plant, but it is cultivated in some specific places at a specific altitude, so with some issues. And you can see that in darker pink, you can see how richer the EkinACT extract is in terms of polyphenols, tannins, and flavonoids compared to an Echinacea dry extract that is produced exactly with the same method, but with different cultivation techniques. Then, as I told you already, we have our extract that is whose botanical species is certified by the DNA analysis. So if you use this extract, for example, you can also add the logo of DNA certified extract on the packaging of the end product. And we do also some in vitro studies to assess not only the metabolic profile, but also to study its in vitro and biological activity. So here I leave you all my contacts and also the contacts of EPO. Now I see that Maddalena De Cilla is again with us. So of course, I would like to thank all of you for the attention, but I will leave again the floor to Maddalena so she can continue.
I'm really sorry for the inconvenience.
No problem.
Don't exactly understand what was going on, but I'm back. Okay, so let's start from where we left. Okay. Okay. Now it should. Okay, so we were speaking about Echinacea purpurea and Echinacea angustifolia, and about the fact that many studies validate their properties. And it has been proved, as I was saying, that the oral supplementation with Echinacea does exert some effects on the immunity system. Basically, it does increase the activity of macrophage and increase the number of natural killer cells. It does also stimulate few cells, and among those T cells, in producing interleukin number 1 and tumoral necrosis factor alpha, which are early promoter of phlogosis, and they are responsible for fever and pain and responsible for recruiting other inflammatory cells. It also favors the production of interleukin 10, which is an anti-inflammatory interleukin and suppresses several pro-inflammatory cytokines, even favoring or stimulating somehow these cells in producing antibodies. We were mentioning normal flora earlier, and as a matter of fact, fruit tanks included in the Echinacea purpurea and angustifolia have good effect in promoting a regular balance, a normal balance of the intestinal microbiome. There are even few studies about a direct influence on the antibody production and increase in the number of antibody production, but this for sure needs further and deep investigation. Least but not least, Echinacea does have pure anti-inflammatory effect because it does have a downregulating effect on the COX-2, which is one of the main enzymes that starts phlogosis and increases the number of complement system protein. So immune system and phlogosis are two sides of the same coin, and this has to be kept in mind, especially when we are speaking about elder pets. Elder pets are a growing share of the market because they are better cared, they are better fed, and they live longer. And least but not least, dogs, companion dogs may provide an excellent model for human aging, and therefore this group has been recently more carefully studied. Among others, in elder pet, osteoarthritis is one of the more common complaints, and especially for dogs who are overweight, large breed, but not only, and neutered. So when we speak about osteoarthritis, we're speaking about a form of chronic joint inflammation, which is caused by deterioration of cartilage, joint cartilage, of course. So the altered surfaces triggers the activation of complementum with a cascade of events like cellular infiltration, chemotaxis of more interleukins, and these can go down to the point where under the bone, which is underneath the cartilage, the subchondral bone starts remodeling in the more severe cases. Unfortunately, up to now, currently no therapy really exists. We are just using the non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs to try fighting the pain and the numbnesses. But unfortunately, these drugs have a side effect, which is the one that interferes with the glycosaminoglycan synthesis. And as a matter of fact, it's worse than the old process, making the cartilage even weaker. Luckily, it was scientifically demonstrated that, thanks to several trials, of course, herbal medicine can benefit osteoarthritis, specifically through supplementation of some selected botanicals. And namely, here we have Boswellia serrata, Arpagophyton procumbens, also known as devil claw, and curcuma. They all have quite a strong anti-inflammatory effect, and most of all, Boswellia inhibits the synthesis of interleukin-1, TNF-alpha, and even leukotrienes, which are mediator or early stage of inflammation. Curcuma longa as well decreases the production of these cytokines, controlling the degeneration of the articular cartilage matrix, and increases interleukin-10, regulating chondrocyte metabolism and favoring the type 2 collagen synthesis. Least but not least, Arpagophyton procumbens interacts with the synthesis of two major inflammatory enzymes, which are COX-2 and the gene selecting for the inducible nitric oxide synthetase. So if our question is, can we improve our pet health by selectively strengthening their immune system with botanicals? Of course, the answer is yes. These are my contacts, and here I leave the floor to Violetta once again. Thank you.
Okay, so thank you for all. And now I can just read all the questions. So if you want to write a few more things, please, now is the time. Now I'm just checking for all the information and questions. Okay, so one of I think that from the audience, the majority of the questions were related to the regulatory aspects, probably because it's one of the most important and hot topic of this sector. I would like to just answer quickly to one that is related to EPO certification. So I saw if there is a question related to, do you have also certifications for feed? At the moment, not. We do not have specific certification for the feed industry, but we are working on it. And anyway, we know that we have already some customers that have the certification, but they are free to work with us without any problem. Now I can ask, for example, one question to Mattia from a regulatory point of view, and regulatory and also formulatory point of view. So what would you recommend as a solvent in liquid complementary feed alternative to glycerin? Mattia, would you like to answer?
All can be related to the ingredients in formula, but I can suggest for a liquid complementary feed sunflower oil or other vegetable oil. You can use also sorbitol. You can use also syrups made by sugars, and all is related if you desire sugar in your formula. But I think the right evaluation need to be done with the ingredients in formula.
Okay, thank you. And Maddalena, I have a question for you from a more scientific point of view. So the question is, hi, I would like to ask if this information can be extrapolated to rabbits and rodents' food. Thank you.
Okay, we have to keep in mind that rabbits and rodents were for quite a long part of scientific history the model to study effect of many substances. So until it was found that the immune system of a human being is not that much related to rodents, rodents was the animal, the lab animal of choice. So many scientific publication, much of bibliography is based on rodents. So there's quite a lot of material. Not all the effects are similar, but there's for sure a lot that can be read about it. And there are, of course, proven effects on rodents and rabbits as well, with species differences, of course.
And
okay.
It's important, Violetta, to know that for rabbits and rodents, it's important to perform an evaluation of allowed additive with a specific check on the species, because, for example, for EkinACT extract is allowed only for dogs and cats in Europe at the moment. And then it's very important to understand this part of the formula or the food. Yeah.
Yes, sure. In fact, I was saying that, for example, on our catalog, we reported the information that are present in the Annex 1 of the regulation for the additives, in which we report the species in which a specific extract is allowed. Because, for example, for one plant, sometimes is allowed the tincture, or for example, in other cases is allowed the extract or just the essential oils. So it is very important all the times to check carefully the type of the product, of the extract to be included, and the species as well, because not for all extracts or products you can use the same different plants or different extracts. There is also another question that I think is very interesting, but I'm not sure we have all the time to answer in a specific way to this question, which is related to, are materials or botanical extract in food grade quality also allowed for using in pet food? This is a very big issue, and I think that it is better to understand and to have a look on this question according to the specific product that we are talking about and the specific formula. But in general, for example, I can answer from the EPO point of view. We always check carefully all the extracts if they, for example, are allowed in the regulation of additives. So at that point, we create a code which is specific for the additive use, and in fact, all our extracts in that case will be labeled with a specific labeling in which it is written that is for additive use. So maybe the products could be similar, in some cases could be the same, but it is necessary to see case by case. There is not just a general answer. Mattia, I think you can just confirm what I said, no?
It's right. It's right. Yeah. And I'm reading a question. I would like to ask if there is a rule about the maximum amount of botanicals we can use in solid snack for animals. At the moment, for the botanical extract, there are no fixed limit like there are in vitamins or oligoelements. From a regulatory point of view, there are no limits, but you have to evaluate your formula and your target species and in order to have an evaluation of toxicology and clinical point of view.
Okay. Thank you. I saw another important question that is something that very frequently our customers ask us, which is, do you have any list of plant extract for pet food using with description of their effects, for example, gut health, cardio? No, we don't. This is because the extracts can be mainly used as, from a regulatory point of view, can be used as additives and in the category of sensory additives. For sure, we can see the literature, we can study the literature because botanical extracts, as we observed with Maddalena and echinacea, can have an effect, but for sure the answer is not, because we cannot cross the two information, because are on completely different levels. One is the regulatory point of view, so what we can do and what we can say and how we can write a label, and then the science. So there are two completely different planes. So Mattia, I don't know, or Maddalena, I don't know if you want to add something on this.
No, I think it's totally right. But I'm reading another small question. If echinacea is allowed as feed material and feed additive also, where do you think will be declared? I think if you declare echinacea as feed material, you must use the flowering part in powder, but not an extract. If you use in your formula the extract or the tincture or something else, you have to declare it as feed additive. If it is for dogs and cats. If it is for other species, it's another kind of evaluation. Yeah.
Exactly. Okay, I see that there are lots of other questions, but I don't know if we have time to do and to answer to all of them. Maybe we have already gave you all our contacts, and we will send you all the slides in which there are also our contacts as well. So you have to feel free to write us an email or contact us on LinkedIn or you can use all the channel you have and that are available. I would like to thank all of you for your patience. We just left no more than 8 people, so this is an incredible results for us. There was a huge participation, lots of people that participate to this first webinar. Now I would like just to ask you to answer to the question that you will see when the meeting will end up on the satisfactory point of view, and nothing more. Just thank you. I hope you enjoyed this webinar, and we can see for the second webinar that will be on the second part of this year. So enjoy, and thank you, Mattia, and thank you, Maddalena, for participating.
Thank you all.
Okay, thank you. Enjoy your day.